You know that feeling like you're constantly chasing something but you're not totally sure what it is? Or maybe you hit a big goal, and for a second it's great, but then it's just not enough. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea from Osho. He says the real source of all that dissatisfaction is the ego. And we're going to explore how we might actually break free from its grip.
So let's start with that big question, one I'm sure you've asked yourself. Why is enough never really enough? It's like the closer you get to that finish line of success or happiness, the further away it seems to move. What is going on there?
Well, this whole feeling, it actually has a name. We can call it the ambition trap. And according to Osho's philosophy, this isn't something that just pops up in adulthood. No, for most of us, this cycle of pressure, it starts way back in childhood. Think about it. From the time we're little kids, society sends this really clear message, right? It says, hey, you, just as you are, that's not enough. You have to prove your worth, constantly, through your grades, through sports, through every single thing you do.
And then comes the next step. Be somebody. We're all pushed to become someone important, right? A doctor, an artist, an entrepreneur, whatever. The message is so clear. Just being you isn't the goal. You have to become a title, a label.
And what's the ultimate goal we're all sold on? Make your mark, leave a legacy, change the world, be remembered forever. It all hammers home that exact same idea. Who you are right now is just not sufficient. You've got to go out and do something monumental.
Okay, so where does all this relentless pressure actually come from? Well, the philosopher Osho offers a really powerful diagnosis. Let's dig into what he had to say.
So Osho basically takes our common understanding of the ego and just completely flips it on its head. He says the ego isn't confidence, it's not strength. It's actually a mask we create to hide this really deep-seated feeling that we're unworthy, that we're basically nothing. And as Osho puts it, all that striving we do to become something special, that's a direct reaction to that inner feeling of being nothing. It's basically us trying to compensate for this feeling that we just don't measure up.
But here's the real trap, the fundamental problem. Trying to feed the ego, well, it doesn't actually solve that underlying feeling of being unworthy. All it does is create a never-ending chase for more.
Osho illustrates this perfectly with a parable. Imagine a little rat, terrified of a cat. A sage takes pity on it and magically turns it into a bigger cat. But now, that new cat is scared of a dog, so poof, it becomes a cheetah. Then the cheetah is attacked by a lion, so the sage turns it into an even bigger lion. But here's the thing. Even as this all-powerful lion, on the inside, it's still just that scared little rat. Its fear just gets bigger along with its body. The mask gets more impressive, but that core anxiety, it's still there, maybe even worse.
And look, this isn't just some cute story about animals, right? It's a really powerful metaphor for what it means to be human. We see this exact dynamic playing out all the time, especially with people who seem to have absolutely everything, yet they still come across as so deeply insecure.
I mean, think about Napoleon. The guy conquered most of Europe, but he was supposedly consumed by a complex over his height. Or look at Donald Trump, becomes the most powerful person on the planet, yet he's still preoccupied with not having a Nobel Prize like his predecessor did. It just goes to show you the ego is never, ever satisfied.
And this is the crucial point Osho makes. The ego survives, it thrives on comparison. And let's be real, in a world of 8 billion people, there is always going to be someone who's richer, smarter, or more powerful than you are. It is a game that is literally impossible to win. Okay, so if chasing more and more doesn't work, then what's the answer? How do you actually get out of this trap?
Well, the logical next step might seem to be, okay, I'll just destroy my ego, right? Just declare war on it, fight it, kill it off. But Osho warns us, hold on, that's just another trap. And it's even more subtle.
And here's the paradox he points out. Any attempt to kill your ego is actually an act of the ego. Think about it. It just creates a new, sneaky kind of pride. You become proud of how humble you are or how egoless you've become. You start thinking you're more spiritual than everyone else. It's the same game, just with a different costume.
So instead of fighting, Osho's solution is actually way simpler, but also much more profound. It's not about fighting, it's about observing. Just watch it. When you simply notice the ego with awareness, without judging it, and this is key, without feeding it with your attention and belief, it just withers away. He says it's like a house of cards that gets blown over by a gentle breeze of consciousness.
Okay, but let's be practical. What does a life without all that constant ego striving even look like? Does it mean you just become lazy? You just sit on the couch and do nothing?
Osho's answer is a big no, absolutely not. In fact, he argues the exact opposite. He says once you're free from all that anxiety and noise from the ego, your actions become truly authentic, truly creative. Imagine an artist who's painting just for the sheer joy of it, not to get famous. That's the idea. Your actions just flow, naturally, without all that strain and competition. Kind of like a river just finding its way to the ocean.
And really, it's this lack of self-awareness that fuels so many of our modern anxieties, isn't it? That endless chase for likes and validation on social media, the mindless consumerism to buy things that signal our status, that soul-crushing feeling of being just another cog in the machine at a job you do for the prestige. According to Osho, these are all just symptoms of an ego that's running the show.
And in a way, the system is kind of set up like this. Society doesn't really want you to be wise. It wants you to be efficient. And efficiency, well, that's a quality of machines, not humans. It benefits from us being predictable and mechanical, not necessarily from us being truly self-aware.
And all this leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question to ask ourselves. Are you living your life with intention and awareness, or are you just being run by a program? The choice, ultimately, is yours.